Hey everyone, welcome back. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about which Mahadasha that you're born and why you are literally born and what type of karma that you need to clear off. So if you haven't seen any of my previous video, I have explained what is Mahadasha and how you can go and find it and why the basic description I have done given. So please go and check out that video and then you come and see this video according to whatever Mahadasha that you were born. So let's go for the topic of today. So if you're watching this video for the Mahadasha that you are born, there is two things, Mahadasha and Antardasha. So make sure you're watching for both of it because it represents you, your whole personality and why you are born into this world. You can actually check out by your nakshatras, but if you don't understand, then you can literally just go and Google for Mahadasha calculator, then you can get which Mahadasha that you're born. So for this one, and you also need to remember your Mahadasha is the main and your Antardasha is like your personality, like your identity and personality, how it is interconnecting with yourself, and you have to put it together to know who you are and your inner self. So that is how it is going to be representing you. So I will start with the Sun Mahadasha. So for the Sun Mahadasha, this is going to represent your power, your karmic lineage, very strong karmic lineage you will have here. Because of the fact previously you will have probably royalty or authority, you were born into a family or you were born into a lineage that is very strong. So this time you came here just because you want to clear off the karma with the people that you have past life karmas, and mostly it will be power struggles. So even when you're born into this world, since your young age, you can see this, you have a power struggle with your father, your authorities and the governments in whichever country that you are born. So that can represent that, and this can also represent you need to have that title, that power of authority in your life. Probably you wouldn't realize this when you were having in your childhood, maybe in your teenage, in your 30s, 40s, you will realize this, and this can also represent that you even have to face it to get the title. You have faced a lot of troubles to get the title, the power of authority, and make sure you don't use it in a bad way, because that is another time you are accumulating karmas which is from past life. You already abused the power, so that's why you are here. So make sure the title and the power that you are getting in this lifetime, make sure you're using it for good. And this can also represent you may have a good or bad relationship with government and higher authority according to the sun nakshatra and house placement in the chart. So this can represent that you may have an issue with the father figure in your life or your uncles, and this can also represent that make sure you see where's your sun, which house it is placed in your chart, in your birth chart. Make sure you're seeing from the birth chart itself. You don't need to go for the D9 or D10 yet. We are just covering out for the D1 first. So this can represent the sun nakshatra and how and which nakshatra it is represents, and see that nakshatra lord where he is placed. Well, so that can shows you what type of struggle that you will face in this lifetime because of the fact that you're born in Sun Mahadasha. And this can also represent that Sun Mahadasha can also makes you to even have a very hair falling. You may have a hair falling even if since your young age, and you don't really keep even if you try to keep a very long hair, it doesn't really works for you. So that can represent Sun Mahadasha. And Sun also represents wherever he sits, he gives the shine as well, he burns. So you really need to be careful what type of energy that you are feeding your sun. So make sure whenever you are seeing the sun, look at your moon as well, because sun and moon is like correlated, so it cannot be like two different things. No. So by looking at that, you will know what type of power that you will gain and what type of karma lineage that you are actually born into this world. So that is for Sun Mahadasha. So the next one would be Moon Mahadasha. Moon Mahadasha, obviously it represents for the people who are born into this world. In the Moon Mahadasha, you are very emotional well-being. You were born to have that emotional bond. You were born to have that emotional bonding with other people, emotional attachments that you had in a previous life. That's why you are born in this lifetime, to clear off that emotional attachments with the people that you had in your past life. And this can also represents that boundaries in relationship. Probably in your previous life you didn't have that boundaries in your life, in the relationship with your family, or even with yourself. This can actually represent self-love a lot, because of the fact in your previous life you didn't really have that. That's why you actually born into Moon Mahadasha, and you are trying to accumulate that emotional balance and stability in your life. And this can also represent strong karmic with the mother and a family born into, because of the fact, as I said previously, if you're seeing Sun Mahadasha, it's correlated with the moon. So this is why you should see as your moon and which nakshatra it is placed, and look at the lot of that nakshatra is placed in your chart. That will definitely represents what type of attachment that you will have issues in the lifetime, and what type of emotional sensitivity that you will have in this lifetime, that you need to overcome it. So this can also represent attachments issues. If you see, most of the time people who have a Moon Mahadasha or going through Moon Mahadasha, if you have strong moon, then that is a different story. These people will have a very strong mind. These people will gain that strong emotional well-being, that strong emotional intelligence. But if you have a weak moon, or you were born in a Moon Mahadasha, and you were having a trouble moon, or moon is conjunct with other planets. If you know, moon is very sensitive and very weak, so whenever it is conjunct with other planet, it always take up that planets, whoever it is conjunct, it will take up that. So that is why you need to have to clear off that illusions in your life. So probably you need to start doing, I forgot to say for the sun as well. If you're born in Sun Mahadasha, you can start doing the Sun Beach Mantra as for starting. If you're born in a Moon Mahadasha, you should start with the Moon Beach Mantra. And obviously for others, apart from Sun and Moon, if you born in other Mahadasha, then I would probably still start with the Moon and Sun Mahadasha, because of the fact Moon and Sun is the main planet that we always look at first thing. So make sure you clear off the Beach Mantra for these two planets. And then I wouldn't say planets, I mean, we know that the other like main thing in the universe. So make sure you start with the Sun and Moon, and then you goes with your Mahadasha that you are born into. So this is how it is going. And also Moon Mahadasha can represent practice of emotional intelligence, as I have said. So you have to really work with your emotional intelligence, and also work with the emotional detachments. We can say attachments is like a fine balance, but detachments is also important, and also having boundaries in your life. If you don't have boundaries in your life, it is going to be very tough for people who are born in Moon Mahadasha, because of the fact that it's always going to be, you are going to give a lot in the relationship, in everything in your life, and then you will feel weak, you will feel drained in your life. So this is why people who have a Moon Mahadasha, especially born in Moon Mahadasha, you must have to really practice that. So make sure you don't forget to give that self-love that you need for yourself. And that is for Moon Mahadasha. So next one would be Jupiter Mahadasha. If you're born in a Jupiter Mahadasha, obviously it shows that you were previously having issue with the gurus, or you yourself were guru in your past life. So that was one of the karma that you actually had, and that's why you actually born in this Mahadasha, to actually clear off the pending karma related to the wisdom, to the knowledge of this life. And you came here to actually clear off and then ascend yourself. So karma with the gurus and learning. So you must, even though it's tough, it's hardest, so whatever it is, you will always be tested with the knowledge, with your gurus, or with the people around who holds that title of gurus, the teachers, the education systems, the knowledge, learning, universities, degrees, even schools. So this can represent the karma is always related with that for in your life. That's why you even born in Jupiter Mahadasha. And this can also represent that you must respect to gurus and educations, because of the fact in your previous life you probably didn't respect that. That's why you actually born in Jupiter Mahadasha. And also don't forget, Jupiter is the biggest planet in the solar system. So if ever you know, Then don't forget, Jupiter also represents heavy. So Jupiter is big and heavy, so you just know the karma that you have is big and heavy. So you may feel very much overwhelmed if Jupiter is not well placed in your chart. So make sure always and always start to do Jupiter Beach Mantra after you done the Sun and Moon Beach Mantra. So that will actually helps you if you follow the moral values. Jupiter always represents moral values. If you don't follow it, it's very hard for you. So, and this can also represent for the women. This can represent your spouse, husband that need to clear off karmic debt. You have to clear off your karmic debt with your partner, whoever that you are in relationship, in whenever you're getting married, then definitely it's going to be one of the huge part in your life for the women. And Jupiter also represents your luck. So this regardless of the gender, be it man or woman, then your luck always plays a big role in your life. For good or bad, we never know. You have to look at your chart. But Jupiter always represents that. He represents one of the luckiest sign if it is in a good placement. If not, then you should always make sure you are working up with his energy, Jupiter's energy, because if you didn't, then Jupiter will punish you. Don't think that Saturn is only the one, Saturn is the Lord of Karma, he's the only one who will punish you. Who says that? It's actually Jupiter will do that if you just didn't respect him, or you just do something not something that he likes. Then you will see Jupiter's act is not something very nice that you want to see. So that is for Jupiter Mahadasha. So next one would be Venus Mahadasha. If you're born in Venus Mahadasha, obviously it represents women, regardless of gender. If you're born as a woman or man, if you're born in Venus Mahadasha, you must respect women and huge karma with feminine energy, because of the fact in your previous life you have done something wrong with the women, the feminine energy in your life. So this is why you always have to do that. And you will always see something has to do with the scandalous, with the issues with the women, with the feminism or whatever it is going to be affecting you. And this can also represent twin flame, soulmate, karmic bond, karmic partner, all based on the person's Venus nakshatra and which house Venus plays in the chart. This can represent, it will shows you will have a very huge pending karma with your partner. Even if you are not married, you were just relationship with the boyfriend, girlfriend, or you were in love, you break up, every single thing will affect you because of the fact that you born in Venus Mahadasha. You must, it's like a must thing, you have to clear off the karma with that person. That's why you are meant to be born in this world, to actually clear off that. And this can also represent strong fashion sense according to the Venus nakshatra in the chart. So for good or bad, we never know, but most of the time each nakshatra have their own fashion sense. So you just have to look at where is Venus in your chart and where is which nakshatra Venus is in your chart. So that can represent, you may actually act up in that way. And if Venus is Atma Karka, then it can represent you have very strong Venus now. So this can also represent you may have a moles or birthmark on body, cheek, or may indulge or addiction issues early life, or in Venus Dasha, whenever when you're born in Venus Mahadasha. Certain times I have seen sometimes people just born only in 2-3 days the Mahadasha will change. So I have seen that. So if you born in Venus Mahadasha, probably in the start of Venus Mahadasha, then you are going through the whole childhood of yours in Venus Mahadasha. So you may have issues with the addictions. Who says that we have addictions when we are in adult? No. If you see, even in early life, we may have that. So you really have to be very much self-conscious. Or as Venus also known as a Sukracharya, he is the lord of demons. So this can also represent that probably in your early life you would have been in so many issues, so many troubles, but then your life completely changed. So to understand that, you can actually go and read about Venus Sukracharya's story, which is very interesting. So you can read about him. And this can also represent Venus also represents if he is well placed in a good nakshatra. Make sure which nakshatra, the nakshatra lord where he is placed in your chart, make sure look at that, because that is the way that you will make a solid cash out of that placements. So Venus also represents that you may always have to put effort into your looks, your skincare, your self-love. This can represent that as well. If there is a conjunction with the Venus, make sure you look at the planet that is conjunct and what nakshatra, which house it is placed, because Venus may absorb that energy too, as Venus also soft and very much a feminine energy, just like the moon. So you have to look where it is, and that is for Venus. So next one, we are going through Mercury Mahadasha. If you're born in a Mercury Mahadasha, then most definitely you would be someone who may speak very fast or slow according to the nakshatra that you born and the house placement and how strengthened your Mercury is in your birth chart. So that will represents if you when you were young, you have that communication skills, or you speak very fast, or you actually speaks very slow or late when you were in childhood. And this can also represent communication skills and speech ability, all based on Mercury nakshatra ruler, be it for good or bad. So as I said, you always have to look at where is Mercury nakshatra. Mercury is always neutral, even though he doesn't have any kind of enemies, but you just have to look. If Mercury is in a Mars nakshatra, then just imagine what type of speech that you're gonna have. If it's in Sun nakshatra, just you can have that authority even though you don't have, and people are not going to take it very nicely. So this is why you need to really work on it. And as I say, this can also represent fast or slow ability to learn or grasp information and knowledge, because of the fact Mercury represents also information and also how you are taking up the knowledge. And not to forget, Mercury also represents confusion. So for good or bad, if you are taking any type of information, make sure that you are taking it properly and listen first, and then you are writing it down. Don't make sure whenever there is issues or there is a confusion, you speak up and ask the information correctly rather than you make up your own mind, because Mercury can also represent that if it's not well placed in your chart. And this can also represent, regardless where Mercury it always represents chaos energies when it's retrograde, because of the fact when Mercury retrograde, we all know how it is being, or how our life will be we facing some issues in our lives. So that is what it is. Mercury can represent if someone who's born with Mercury retrograde and Mercury Mahadasha, this is going to be very strong for you. And these people will be actually maybe in early life they would be like very chaos energies, very much trouble energies they will face, but whenever they are reaching their 30s, 20s, late 20s, they will be like very much calm and very much easygoing, because of the fact they already see the issues previously in their life. So Mercury Mahadasha always represents, make sure very much detail oriented with your documents. Keep your documents very much safe, and also do not ever have that careless energy or, oh, I can do this later. No, don't do that. It's not gonna work. And this can also represents you have a karmic siblings relationship in your life, especially with the family that you are born, including with the cousins and with your friends. So that is for Mercury Mahadasha. So next is Mars Mahadasha. If you're born in a Mars Mahadasha, this can also represent soldiers who dies and reborn in this world. So obviously you can understand what type of energies that you are bringing up into this world and why you are born. So your anger is literally the main theme that playing out in your life, that you have to face it. You have to really control, you have to face your own anger of your life. And revenge may become theme and bloodshed karmic relationship, whoever the family that you are born into. It can be very much painful energy, because of the fact Mars represents aggressions and also definitely very much bleeding and also fighting, so many issues that it is going on. So Mars can represent this. So probably in your past life you would have been a soldier, or you were fighting with someone and you died in that way. So that can happen. That's why you came here. So if you want to actually not really again and again having that karma, so probably in this lifetime that you need to really dissolve, release that anger from your life, and just clear off the karma. Whoever that you are facing in your life, most probably whenever there's angers involved, that person or you yourself is clearing off your biggest karma with that person. Always remember that. That's why Mars energy can really plays that anger plays major role in your life. Then it can represent that very much huge part that it becomes tough, especially if a Mars in 7th house just represents your spouse, your partner is actually being aggressive, or you yourself being aggressive. So be very careful with that type of team. You can actually see where is Mars in your chart and which nakshatra it is placed. Definitely shows the nakshatras a lot. Look at where it is. It will shows you what type of karma that you are here to clear off with anger in it. That is why anger, you were literally born in this world because of the anger of that nakshatra placed, and that nakshatra lot where it is placed. That is your anger, and that is what you need to clear off. So that is for Mars Mahadasha. And next one is Saturn Mahadasha. So Saturn Mahadasha, if you want in Saturn Mahadasha, this is going to be very much obviously karmic bond, karmic relationship. Saturn Khan represents mostly older people, but it can represent even your own parents because they are older than you. So this can represent literally anyone in your life. You have karmic debt that you need to clear off. That's why you born in a Saturn Mahadasha. And probably Saturn Mahadasha people who born literally in their childhood will be very much a disaster, something that we don't really want to talk about. So that is why whenever you see they grow up to be someone who's very introvert, very much wise people, you don't need to tell them. They just knows that this is how this world works and everything. And this can also represent some major social activists, people who are, because Saturn represents society. Saturn also represents the common worker. So this is why these people can do the most of the common work, because they like, I'm done. I just want to be clear of my karma and just by going off. So this is why Saturn Mahadasha people, whoever born in Saturn Mahadasha, you just look at the nakshatra, especially if you're born in Scorpio or Aquarius nakshatra sign, boy, you really knows. More than Capricorn is actually Scorpio and Aquarius is the most karmic, and obviously some tough times is going to be there, and you have to face it, and may have to live slow living life. You can't really live this type of city life. It is actually not for you, unless you really have to clear off with some sort of society governments. You have to, who knows, we have to see your chart where is the nakshatras Lord is placed. Who, if you have Saturn in Sun nakshatras, just knows Saturn already don't like Sun, even though it's his own father. They have issues between them. So it's going to be represents that energy in your life. And the most important part that I have seen for Saturn Mahadasha is patience. Patience plays major role in their life. The setbacks, the delays, that everything that they are facing in their life, more than their Saturn return, it's actually the Saturn Mahadasha that represents that. If you don't have patience, if you are rushing, if you are doing something that's not seems like valuable for the Saturn, he's not going to accept that. He's going to, I have seen this more than people who are born in Saturn Mahadasha, they literally born into it. They know because they're already facing it since their childhood, since they are born. But for people who are facing Saturn Mahadasha, literally when they are in 36 or 30s, 20s, you will see these people will be struggling to understand their Saturns, because of the fact they don't even know what to do, and Saturn will be pushing them to do it exactly what they have to clear off their karma. This is why patience will be like major part, like specific, very specifically, you have to be very patient, or else Saturn is not going to even help you. He will be like, this is who you are and you must do it. There's no other way. So this is why Saturn Mahadasha we cannot predict unless I have to really look at which nakshatra it is placed. But most of the time, delays, setbacks, and also patience. You will never get anything as fast as you think you are, unless if there's a Jupiter's looking at Saturn, or you have Saturn as a Atma Karka, strong Saturn, then definitely why not? You will put hard work into it. So that is for Saturn Mahadasha. So the next one is if you're born in a Rahu Mahadasha. Obviously, it is unfulfilled desires and dreams from your past life. Something that you have a lot of wishes, a lot of that strong wishes, strong dreams, goals. You didn't fulfill. You didn't get it in that past life. That's why you're born here in this life, to actually clear it off. So you must look at where is Ketu and its nakshatra. It represents what type of past life you had and why you are literally born in this nakshatra of Rahu, and how you will achieve it in your life. And this can also represent, Rahu nakshatra represents the destiny this person will walk. So if you have a strong Rahu, or you have Rahu in Scorpio, Aquarius, probably Ashwini nakshatra, which is a major, so this can represent you will be very impulsive, and then damn, you have to look at where is Saturn. So Saturn can represent Saturn debilitated in when in when in Mesha Rashi, because of the fact Saturn represents slow, and Ashwini Mesha Rashi represents Aries represents a fast moving planet. So how do you expect Saturn is going to give you that result, even though you're born in Rahu Mahadasha, you're born in to fulfill this desire? What type of karma that you've done? So look at your Saturn and look at your Ketu. So this can represent that. And next, if it's intense, it goes both ways, for good or bad, which house it sits. So you have to look at where is your Rahu, and which nakshatra and house it sits, and which nakshatra, the nakshatra lord, where it is sit in your chart. That will represent how you will achieve. You will achieve that dream or not. You can actually look at that. And also it also represents outcast energy, just like Ketu, and impulsive and rush, so unusual birth. So probably the birth itself will be very much unusual. Probably even C-section seems like very normal these days, or probably these people like the umbilical cord, it's like around the neck, something just like that. It happens, right? So it seems like a very critical, right? So that is why Rahu can represent that, even with the Ketu as well. So the birth itself will be very unusual, something that people never, not something very usual story that you will listen. If you really hear people Rahu in Mahadasha or Ketu in Mahadasha, people born, there was something is there even when they were born. So the next one would be Ketu Mahadasha. So if you're born in Ketu Mahadasha, obviously you are the soul that really don't want to be here, because of the fact Ketu represents moksha, and you really cannot associate yourself with human life. You don't even identify your own human self. So you feel detached. Ketu represents detachments. This is why in their whole life these people will struggle to find their own identity. More than Rahu, it's actually Ketu. So there is unfinished karmic debt. That's why you were born into this world, because of the fact in your past life you have something you have done slight wrong, and you were born into this life to finish off that karmic debt you have with someone else, and you want to clear it off for once and for all. So probably Ketu Mahadasha, I've seen people, they just don't want to be here. They know why they are here, and they just want to finish it off, and they just want to go off. That's it. So most of the time these people, for good or bad, we obviously have to see which nakshatra and which house it is placed. That can represent, if Ketu in the 7th house and you born in Ketu Mahadasha, or Ketu in the 1st house, obviously it shows it is you yourself, or 7th house your partner, who else you are here for. 7th house literally represents everyone that you are looking at, literally even the stranger that comes in front of you. It is them, it is that person that you have to clear off the karma. For 1 second, 2 seconds, we never know. Probably that person will be like wishing you well, or they just like scolding you, whatever. We never knows. That's why we have to look at where Ketu it is in your chart, and which nakshatra it is, and that nakshatra rods it is well placed or not. That's what you have to look at. And this can also represent spirituality plays major role in one's life. So if you're born in Ketu Mahadasha, most of the time, since you are young, these people, you will see the most introvert person. More than Saturn, more than any other planet, it is Ketu represents isolations, and these people don't really have friends, don't really have any type of they always have that detachments in their life, because of the fact they know since when they are born they don't relate it with this world. They don't even relate with their own body, with their human life that they are having. So how can they relate with other people? This is why Ketu Mahadasha can represent very much intense energy in one's life. And obviously, born healer, this can represent what type of gift that you have, healing gift that you have. Just look at the Ketu Nakshatra, it represents that type of healing that you have. And May never resonates with this world's energy, as I say, nor humans. So it's very hard, but you have to go through, because this is the karma that you have to clear out. So outcast energy, just like a Rahu energy, and may have unusual birthmark on body and unusual birth. So as I said, this can represent Ketu Mahadasha. If you're born in a Ketu Mahadasha, you will know that you will have some kind of birthmark in your body that can represent very unusual. Not everyone is not or everyone have a birthmark, and it will be very unusual. And also your birth itself will be very much unusual. You can literally ask your mother or your family about it. Who knows, we never know, right? So just ask about it. So this is how the Mahadashas represents in your life, and why you are actually born here. And not to forget, Mahadasha that you born is your entire personality until you die, until your last breath, until this life ends. That is your deepest personality and character of yourself, of your inner self. You can never change that. Even though you pass your Saturn return, whatever it is you and who you are. It is never going to change. If you're born in a Ketu Mahadasha, forever you are going to be that isolation, that you know that detachment is going to be there, and you have to go through it. So that is life, and that is how it is going to be. So that is why I actually go through this. I'm going through this topic and just want to make this basic understanding about yourself. If you already have this understanding, you will know what is coming up and how to face this life. We all are having this life is going like very unpredictable these days. So probably you can use this knowledge in your life and make it a bit easier. You never know. So I hope this one helps, and please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, because that helps me a lot. And obviously I will be coming up with the wait, I'm actually doing Ketu series, right? I need to finish it up. So I will see you guys in my next video with another topic and also with the series. So see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.